he and Herod had found no guilt in Jesus. He told them he would punish Jesus and release him. Pilate had Jesus flogged. The soldiers then dressed Jesus in a robe and mocked and beat him. Pilate went back to the crowd and told them he would now release Jesus. But the priests and the people gathered there and cried out, "Away with this man, and release for us Barabbas." Pilate again tried to persuade the crowd to let him release Jesus, but the crowd cried out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate continued to argue for the release of Jesus, but the crowd was insistent for Jesus to be crucified. Pilate eventually relented and agreed to condemn Jesus and release Barabbas.
The first station, Jesus is condemned to death. There you stand before the crowd after being beaten. You never deny yourself, yet humbly accept the punishment given to you by those who had witnessed your miracles. It's easy to look at the scene now and think, how could they have accused you and condemned you to death? All you did was love every person you met. Yet, they are not alone in condemning you.
How often do I ignore you at school and the person no one wants to talk to? How often do my words condemn you in the way that I speak about others? It was not only the Jews and Pontius Pilate who condemned you, but I stand next to them just as loud, shouting, "Crucify him." Jesus, forgive me for the ways in which I condemn and pierce others with my words and actions. Help me to love like you and to learn from your example.
Jesus carries the cross. By now you have endured a sleepless night, betrayal by your friends, and a beating that is too horrible to fully imagine. You've been whipped, stripped, and spit on by countless faces, some of whom last week treated you as royalty as you entered the city. And now they hand you a cross to carry. The weight of it is far more than any number of pounds we can figure. For in carrying the cross, you carry the weight of our sins.
How often do I forget that you have carried the load for me? How often do I try to carry things on my own, not allowing you to help me? It was not only the sins of the world that you carried, it was my sin, my selfishness, my pride, and my anger. Each added more weight to the load. And it was not only each you carried step by step up towards Golgotha, the place of the skull. Jesus, help me not to forget the load that you carried for me. Give me the strength and the courage to help let go of those things that separate me from you.
Jesus falls for the first time. As you walk through the narrow streets, every movement, every jolt burns and reopens your wounds. The pain along with the weight of the cross becomes too much and you fall. boxing, when a fighter falls and is too beaten to continue, the fight is stopped by the referee. Yet, there is no one there to stop the power that you have in your own. Even though you know what's still in your head, you do not stop, and somehow find the strength to continue.
How many times have I fallen in my walk? Too many to count, I'm sure. So many times when I fall, I don't feel like getting back up and trying again. There are too many temptations that I'm faced with that feel too fun and easy to do because so many around me are doing them. Jesus, help me to remember your courage and perseverance when you fail. Give me the courage to get up and fall. Help me remember it is worth it to live as you live.
Jesus meets his mother. Amid all the shouts and cheers from the crowd that move like a wave in your mind as you struggle to remain conscious, one voice stands out. At first, it is so faint that you wonder if it's real, but then as your eyes meet and you see her face, you are not surprised that she's there for you. She's always been there for you. Her yes to the Father has been a light in the darkness, and now, here in your darkest hour, she is there.
There are so many times when I feel alone in my struggles. It seems that no one understands what I am going through, especially my parents. But I realize they must. How many times have I hidden things from my parents out of fear of what they would say or what trouble I would be in when all they want is to love me? Jesus, help me to remember that I am never alone in my struggles. Help me to see my parents as you saw yours. Help me know their love for me. When things are hard between us, help me to remember the light of your mother in my life.
Simon helps Jesus carry his cross. The soldiers who have beaten you all day had what appears to be a moment of compassion. Yet instead, their selfish motives override their opportunity for charity. They only want to follow their orders to get you up to the place where you will be crucified. How beaten you look that they decide to grab Simon Cyrene out of the crowd to help you carry the cross. He follows behind you, walking in your steps, helping you move forward. You press on, knowing that the worst is yet to come.
Do I pass up an opportunity to help someone in need? Do I let what others may think of me stop me from reaching out? Jesus, open my ears to hear the ways that you call me to serve. Help me follow Simon's example of helping others. Help me to know what it means to be a true and faithful servant.
Veronica wipes the face of Jesus. By now the thorns cut deeply into your head, and even seeing where you should step next is almost impossible. Up to this point, all who approach you, other than your mother, either shout at you or spit in your face. As Veronica approaches, she walks differently than the others. As she reaches out her hands and wipes your face, suddenly her face of compassion becomes clear. No words are necessary, both her eyes say it all, for in that moment, your dignity as a man is restored.
How many times have I forgotten that each person is made in your image and likeness, and therefore deserves my respect? Do I make others objects of my pleasure and ignore their humanity? Veronica courageously stepped forward and dared to treat you differently than everyone else. Could I do the same? Jesus, help me to see your presence in others. Give me the courage to follow Veronica's example of treating others with love, even when no one else does.
Jesus falls the second time. The soldiers are enraged at you for falling this time. They can't understand how Simon's help is not enough. In their anger, they hit you again and again, before they remember that you have to be alive to be crucified. The beating stops, but the shouts and taunts become louder and harsher. At this moment, you can stop this. You are the Messiah and have the power to reveal yourself to everyone there. But you know that it would not fulfill all that is written about you. You know that you must be faithful to all of the Father's promises to his people. Remembering your love and your faithfulness, you get up. And now, with your wounds full of blood and each step embedding it deeper,
How many times have I let my flesh win over my spirit? How often have I chosen to sin rather than to follow your way? Was it my sin that became too heavy that you failed this third time? Jesus, help me to follow your ways. Help me remember your victory over my sin. Give me the grace to recognize when I sin and the desire to sin no more.
as if you were already dead. While air still passes through your lungs and your heart still beats, to them you are dead. They know you are on your way to be crucified, and because of the beating you have endured, you already look like you should not be breathing at all. Yet in this moment, consumed by death, you speak words of life and say, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me."
Do I listen to your words in my life? How often have the things I've watched or listened led me away from you? Have I allowed the gospel of life to reign in my heart? Jesus, help me to remember, listen to your words of life. Show me ways I can put you first.
Jesus falls for the third time. Again you fall, this time from sheer exhaustion. Only your soul presses you forward, while your body refuses. How difficult it must be to be fully God and fully man. God knows that this has to be finished, and that it is not easy. Man feels the excruciating pain, and every bone in your body wants to stop right here and move no further. Somehow both join together, and you gather the strength to get up. You vow not to fall again, because now you can see the place where they're leading you to. You know the end is close, and so you press on.
How many times have I failed to follow through on my promises? Or worse yet, how often have I lied even to the people I care about? Do I remember your faithfulness even when I fail? Jesus, help me to believe in your faithfulness and more for me. Daily grace to follow through on your word to earn it. Help me to be a person of integrity.
Jesus is stripped of his garments. In some ways, to get to this point is a relief, because you know it's almost over. In other ways, it is terrifying, because you know the worst pain possible for man to endure is still waiting for you. By now your bloody cuts have dried to your garments. Because of this, they act as a layer of skin, since so little of your own remains. As the soldiers strip you bare, it is not the nakedness that is painful, but rather the vicious tearing of your skin. The cuts that have closed now reopen, and once again a river of blood runs all over your body. You are stripped of your dignity as an animal, for even animals are given a swifter, less painful death.
How often have I judged others by the way they look or what they are wearing? Do I find my own self-worth and self-identity by the clothes I wear or the way I look? Jesus, help me to look past the outside of others. Help me not to judge them by
but also your whole body. The soldier pounds it in, only stopping to wipe the blood off his own face. Again, the nail is driven into your other hand, and the pain jolts your entire body. Pain shoots up your legs as they nail your feet.
In reflection, I am angered by the soldiers. I can't understand why they are doing this to you. And yet, what is hardest to realize is that not only am I in the crowd watching all of this, but I am also one of the nailing to the cross. How many times has my sin became the strike of a nail into your body? How often do I turn away from your mercy? Jesus, I'm sorry for nailing you to the cross with my own sin. Help me to seek your forgiveness and mercy for the times that I've sinned.
Jesus dies on the cross. Above your head is the inscription, King of the Jews. As you use every last ounce of life left in you to lift your body so that you can speak, you do not lift your heart. Yet, every word out of your mouth is one of love, truly from another kingdom. The faces of all humanity must flash before your eyes, as one by one you recount whom you are doing this for. And finally you say, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. It is finished. You breathe your last, and it looks as though this is the end.
Jesus, help me never forget your love for me. Help me to know that you died for me. Fill me with comfort in knowing that I never suffered anything you don't understand.
Jesus is taken down from the cross. The first arms that held you in this world are also the last. Your mother was told a sword would pierce her heart the day she presented you as an infant to the Father. Now, as she holds your body that is enameled beyond recognition, she sees not only the man she knows well, but also the child she held
many times have I lost hope in you? How often have I doubted your ability to be God in my life over all things? Jesus, help me to trust in you. Help me to place all of my hope in you, and give me peace in knowing that you are Lord over all things.
Jesus is placed in the tomb. You are laid to rest by Joseph of Arimathea, Mary Magdalene, Mary your mother, and a few other women. As your body is anointed, Mary Magdalene remembers your eyes penetrated your heart. Tears stream down her face, along with the others there, as they remember your love. They wrap your body in clean linens and lay it in a near tomb. The stone is rolled over the entrance, and now it surely is the end. Up to this point, death is final. While those you have lived with, laughed with, and cried with are there in their heightened sorrow, believing all is over, you are conquering sin and death.
How many times has death felt like the end? When I've lost a loved one, it can be so hard to remember your victory. How often do I miss the opportunities to say, I love you, to those special people in my life? Does my family and friends know how I feel about them? Jesus, help me always remember that death is not the end. Give me the strength to say the words, I love you, to those people in my life that I do love. Help me to love every person, not just in words, but also with my actions. Jesus, I love you, I need you, and I trust you.
Of all power, of all kings, of all nature and all created things, of all wisdom and all the ways of man, you were here before the world. Of all kingdoms, of all thrones, of all wonders the world has ever known, of all the wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified and laid behind the stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose all the ways of man. Before the world began, of all kingdoms, of all thrones, of all wonders the world has ever known, of all wealth and treasures of the earth, there's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind the stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took the fall and thought of me above all. Oh, you crucified and laid behind the stone. You lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. You took all thought of me